Let's get it. Hi guys and welcome back to PUBG Mobile Pro Stream South Asia, and this whole event is brought to you by Northern Gaming. My name is
Yeah.
Ankit and joining alongside me is Fixie. So how are you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm doing amazing, and it's been a while that we've ventured into the South Asian Pro Scrims. Of course, it did start off yesterday, and here I am today to cast the game. So, you were actually casting along with Johnny, right? So, give me a brief summary of what is really happening over here.
Here it is. So yesterday, we just saw Bangladeshi team actually dominating when INES and one more team, Venom Legends, it was there who
Okay.
actually brought down the chickener for themselves. So yesterday we saw in the first game where a Nepali chickener did happen, but after that, back to back. It was a domination by the team of Bangladeshi region. But I'm looking forward for domination if we talk about the team from Pakistan region, talk about the team of STALWARTxFLEX, be it be F4, be it be R3D. So I'm really hopeful will they be able to making a comeback. But before that, let's head towards the total season prize pool, and that is of a total prize pool of $2,000, but that is distributed in the four different places, because the first place that the team gets secures a total prize pool of $1,000, I guess, and yes, and second place that $500, and third place $300, and the fourth place $200. So just the fourth place that is the prize is actually distributed to.
I mean, you would only want to stay on the first position, right? Just get your
Exactly.
hands on $1,000, and the remainder of the prize pool barely should matter. But anyways, I mean, it's more about what they are putting forward, their new strats. But to do that, you need to earn points, and likewise, we've seen this point structure for quite some time. The first position getting 15 points, 13 to 16 getting nada. So lately we have seen different point structures even coming up, and
Yeah.
it has happened over PEL. So
Exactly.
I really want that point structure to come over here in those official tournaments, but that's of course for a different version of the game completely. So either ways, talking about this particular point structure, teams need to understand that they have to go for kills, because it's of course scrim, so you would want to rely on your battle prowess for that.
Yup, and with that, after point structure, let's straight away head towards the Group A slot list, where we see teams like P and Crew, Venom Legends, R3G, Train to Kill, Gods Reborn, Freestyle, 7Cs Esports, and Blood Legion. Talking about this team, Blood Legion, the very first game they secured a 12 kill. They didn't able to get to that chicken run, but they were looking in a quite top notch performance. But Group B, F4 Esports, Magnus, DRS Gaming, A1 Esports, Futurestation, Carnage Esports, LoG1 Esports, and also Skylight Gaming. So some of the teams have actually been performing well, but you know what? Fixes DRS Gaming is still on the second half of the chart, because we have seen them performing in the PMPL, but here an aberration sort of thing is actually going on.
See, I mean, then again, you talk about team like DRS. I do know, understand the fact that if it's a tournament which really matters to them, they do perform. But taking a look at the schedule that we have lined up for you guys, we've got three games of Miramar. The first one between groups A and B, and then B and C, C and A. So pretty much standard. We did
Yeah.
witness three maps of Erangel yesterday. But yeah, like you mentioned, Team DRS. This is one of the teams that if they sort of get serious about the gameplay, I think there's hardly anyone who can really
Yep.
challenge them on their micro rotations, the way they go around with it, and the way they focus on their nadings. So yeah, the utility usage, everything is bang on perfect with this team. Of course, being the PMPL champions, there has to be a reason for that. But then again, in
Exactly.
scrims, teams sort of tend to take things a bit lightly, because not a lot of things are on the line apart from the prize pool
Yeah.
itself. But yeah, I mean, let's see which are the teams hungry enough to get the first spot today.
Exactly. We have to look forward that when the game goes underway. But before that, let's head away to the overall ranking after game 15. Train to Wheel topping that chart with 116 total points in 10 matches, and F4 Esports not much behind them, just 5 points, and they are just looking neck to neck performance. But Blood Legion, they must be eyeing to get that century mark first, and maybe after the end of the day, they might secure that hashtag one position or two position. We have to wait for that. But some teams are on to the second half of the chart. Talk about 952, Deadeyes Guys, R3D, P and Crew. So a lot of team are actually on the second half of the chart that has actually performed decently in the past.
I mean, yeah, they have performed decently in the past, and this is, it's been already 15 games that we have gone along with, and before the PMPL also, we had actually started off with that and continuing the legacy over here, and moving on with our South Asian Pro Scrims. We are witnessing all these teams coming in and putting their hearts out over there. So, of
Yeah.
course, like you mentioned, Bangladeshi teams are taking the plunge over here, and Carnage Esports is definitely one of the teams that I really am eyeing out for, because you talk about similar playstyle like DRS. This is also one of the teams that delivers. But let's see as to what they have to offer today, because Miramar is definitely one of those maps in which teams like Carnage really thrive.
Exactly, we have seen their performance, them flourishing, especially in the map of Miramar, and the teams who have actually performed and showcased their talent on the map of Miramar. It's a delight for them because back to back, we just yesterday saw the three Irangles, and today it is a day when the barren desert is gonna be back in action because three games back to back. Obviously, the group A and B will play the first match, and then B and C. So group B will finish off their first two match of the day because a team eventually gets just two opportunities, so you don't have much time to actually set in. You just don't have much time to groove in your place. You just have to go right on the bat, and we have seen some teams doing that, performing very brilliantly right off the start. So some teams might be looking, and you were just mentioning about the performance of DRS. Eventually they were on the second place of the chart before this play of yesterday's play, but after that yesterday's two match, they have gone down to the third of the chart, which they must not be looking for. Anyway, they anyhow they are casually playing. They must be trying to build a new narrative today. Maybe just we have to wait for that. And what do you think can be the plan for today? Because any team that's a champion team, because conquering that PMPL season in your name, that's a big thing. That's a big achievement.
Well, to be honest, for a team like DRS, what their goals will be, of course, is going all out. What they are going to be prioritizing on is a lot of kills. And yes, of course, the very fact that we are having the scrims here, scrims is quoted so that you can practice your strats. So that's not going to bother DRS much. That all right, we are in the third page of the table. What are we doing? We're not really a
Exactly.
good team. No, that's not the case. What they're really trying over here is different strats, ways to be really aggressive, ways to take off a lot of fights. Now initially, after 15 games, they're still trying to figure out, in those 4v4s, what is a good footing for us, where do we attack from, what are the mistakes that we have committed. There will be a point when they will start going aggressive, and battles will of course turn out in their favor. So
Yeah.
yeah, I came kind of completely I'm in for the kind of approach where you're gonna try out different things in scrims, rather than just play it very try hard, try to
Exactly.
just play behind the covers, wait for the zone to form in. No, this is not a tournament, for God's sake. Of course it's Scream, you need to take it seriously, but then again, this is the place where you gotta try out new strats.
So that's what you say. You need to take things seriously in the way you are trying to experiment, but you just need not to be bothered about the way if you actually fault or not. Because at the end of the day, you're just trying to experiment things because all of the strategies have already been revealed in your last tournament. So you just need to
Yeah.
come something out of the box, and it does happen. And we have seen some of the teams actually faltering out. So this is the thing that these teams might not be very much concerned about. And let's see how these teams are going to be panning out because. If they are down the line, they know how to bring themselves up and how to lift themselves up. And any team who has actually got that feather on the cap of that PMPL season, that's a delight to watch for them.
I mean, so many PMPL teams are playing, and what really happened in the PMPL, I'm still trying to digest it down. The last game, it's still running in my mind.
Exactly.
So yeah, a lot of surprising things do happen in life for sure, though. But yes, eventually DRS did emerge out as a victor, and it was just not that one game that decided their fates, right? It was them being
Exactly.
consistent throughout, something which team like Zeus failed to do so. I mean, they're of course a better team in terms of a 4v4 fight, and we
Yeah.
do know for a fact that has happened in the past. Statistics do speak of that. If you talk about Zeus and DRS going head to head, but it has to be coming down to the smarter ones of the bunch over there who takes the
Yeah.
entire chicken, who takes the entire food over there, and that had to be DRS. They were cunning, they
Exactly.
were smart, whereas Zeus were more like on the face of it. They were not really shy from taking all those fights. They took a lot of unnecessary fights as well. So a few faltering down right from the first day, I guess. That sort of led Zeus to get that second spot. But come on, we are gone past of PMPL. New things are about to come. A lot of new surprises is waiting for everybody out there in all the different regions as well. So yeah, I'm just getting excited, waiting for the match to
Yeah.
begin.
Exactly, because yesterday we saw some brilliant strategy coming up from the team. Especially, we talk about the team of Futurestation, the team that actually missed some of the weeks in the PMPL, were actually showcasing some of the talents and keeping things away. Because this is a new start, this is a new fresh start, and you need to build the narrative, you need to build the momentum, you need to build the rhythm there and there itself. Because as you just said, the big teams from all these regions, all these teams that have already played in the PMPL are up against each other. So. Not shying away from anything from this, so this can be the best battleground to practice for. And we just saw some of the teams actually doing those things brilliantly, and some teams are actually trying to experiment. We also saw Blood Legion going all in when they were just playing the first match, because 13 kill in the first match, and obviously in the second match they also put up some really brilliant shows. So they were quite pulling up some good stuffs out there. I'll be really watchful how these teams actually perform again. But special eye to the players of Pakistani teams, because yesterday was an off day, to be very honest. Because STALWARTxFLEX starting from the first position and dropping down to the sixth position at the end of the game might have hurt somewhere down the line to them. But then as we all know, these teams are actually experimenting things. So things might go against you, things might not fit in you at the moment. You are just trying to experiment things. But this is the time where you actually learn different things and try to strategize and build your new games up against the teams. Because after that, if you are just thrown to the new tournaments, you are going for the qualifiers and then you play the weekly finals, and there is no space for improvement and no space for experimentation. So this is probably the best battleground the players are actually seeking for.
I mean, 100% agree with you. You're talking about teams like Future Station, Gremlin Storm. They, of course, a wake up call for all these players. I mean, that was a
Exactly.
nightmare that they would want to get past after, what happened with them in the PMPL, and has to be their fault only, considering how they were playing. No excuses whatsoever can be entertained, considering you're a team of that stature, that level. So
Exactly.
you are supposed to be performing for the top three position, not really qualifying for the finals. That's not really expected. But you talk about teams like XP Blood Legion. I'm really happy with how this team is nourished, right? And, the way they have grown over the past couple of months. Watching these boys in PMCO completely obliterating everyone. Hitting those 20 plus chicken dinners, not just once but thrice. That is how deadly this team is.
Yeah.
And in the PMPL, they sort of kind of took a back seat because it was one of the bigger leagues that they were firstly introduced into. So the nervousness factor was, of course, there. But now,
Yeah.
when they've played so many games against each other in the same
Exactly.
lobby, that fear has sort of diminished, and that is
Yeah.
exactly why
Yeah.
we also host all these scrims, because that's where
Exactly.
players. Tend to gel up against each other. And with that being said, you've got the flight path trajectory all the way going from the Sardin side towards La Cobreria. So, my friend Ankit, what do you really feel about this trajectory?
So a lot of the cities on the western half of the map, for example, El Pozo, Chumasera, Picaro, Power Grid, and especially the biggest city, Los Leones, will be in action. But some of the cities like Torre Humada and Campo Meta, where we have seen teams like R3D dropping on again and again. So this might be a place where because it becomes actually unglidable. But I would be really looking if the circle takes a totally eastern shift, because then it becomes important how the teams from the Los Leones or from the area of Chumasera, Montenegro makes a rotation, and there the things actually becomes a bit jittery.
Ah, yeah, of course. Now, considering how teams are taking their drops, we do see A1 Esports and T2K again beside each other. We've got Venom Legends as well, trying to head towards Puerto
Yeah.
Paraiso. And you talk about earlier contestations. I really want to see if anyone is actually going to contend or contest the Picardo area. I believe that's where, a team like Carnage likes to go towards. But I think they might just be in the other groups. So, considering how the circle has really formed, I believe this is one of the games in which DRS can really
Exactly.
capitalize. But then again, you have teams like LoG1 who apparently are known as zone magnets.
Yep, some of the teams have actually worked as and shown again and again their caliber, the way they take the zone. And again, look at that cluster from the area of Hacienda del Petron to the area to the north area of Los Leones. Close to 6, 7 teams are already there. So it becomes actually important and interesting if they make a rotation from their side. But we can see in that right bottom screen, maybe the players from PNQ have already spotted the players from Pakistan region, and that is from Freestyles. All three players are out in the open. They can be any moment caught, and all of these fights, it seems that are actually happening in the area on the western side of Montenegro. But Circle has already made a decent shift. But with that, PN Legend goes down. That means they are already on the receiving end. But a trade knock comes here from the sides of Killer Whitey, and with that UMP. So how many times fixes we have seen this meta coming again and again in the map of talk about the map of Irangal or the map of Miramar. The SMG, the use of SMG is increasing day by day.
Yeah, of course, has to be. But UMP meta is yet to come in this version of PUBG Mobile because in the other one, in the Chinese one, the UMP is pretty much buffed up. And Tyrant, in the meanwhile, is just trying to spot out Ayush. Took a few shots at him, but did not really connect. Now, you're talking about guns, where we do have Killer Whitey from the Far of Ray going after Tyrant and just taking him down before he even realizes that. But Black will, of course,
Yeah.
want to dish out some damage, but in turn, he's getting traded back. But Ayush, can he make it towards Legend in the right nick of time? Yes, he can, but Black knocks him down.
Yeah, Black with that trade knock into action. Some mini tap shots already into the action. We expect these DMR actions, but at this early stage, nobody actually expected. But Tyrant and Vegeta already losing from the sides of Freestyle. And these are the two names that have already showcased their performance. But with that flank angle, will this revival go in the favor? But no, with that shot from Sandesh with M16s and yes, FS Freestyles again, a team from Pakistan region faltering out in the very first half of the game. Who expected this game to be very fast paced? Because just in the 4 minute and 15 second, it is not seeming like we are witnessing the game of Miramar.
I mean, yeah, it has to do with the fact that these are scrims. We might sound like broken records, but that is the storyline over here. But talking about the fight that really broke out in front of us just previously, so what really went wrong was the positioning of the players of Freestyle. The way they had positioned themselves, they were way too much in the open. They just spotted one enemy without having enough information about where the other enemies are. They just
Yeah,
went into the fight, put
yeah.
themselves in a very exposed situation of which the players of PN Crew really took advantage of. Of course, huge props to Baba Black over there for trying to hold things off with his mini, but that did not really happen for long because he tried to just he just tried to end things out, and in that process was really caught off, and it was Sandesh securing. I think it was Killer, in fact, securing the final kill over there. Considering and kind of resulting in elimination of Team Freestyle.
Yep, the first team being eliminated. But let's talk about the team of A1 Esports. They too had a very decent outing in the PMPL, but eventually they faltered out on some of the instances. But for now, it seems that they are still playing with the same strategy because we have seen them time and again dropping to the area of Los Leos. And remember, three team T2K, A1 Esports, and STALWARTxFLEX into the same area. So it actually became a trilateral love story between all these three teams because at the very first end, T2K and A1 Esports, time and again, they were dropping to the city of Los Leones, and it actually became a very impressive fight when we talk about, and we just go in a bit past in the event of PMPL.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is for a fact. But here we have Team F4 this time, of course, with Rahman, one of the players that we could not witness in the South Asian PMPL. However, this time during the Pro Scrims, he's of course there, and
Yeah,
we during his absence of not playing in the South Asian PMPL, we did have Crypto sort of contesting his throne as to being one of the best players in the
exactly.
Pakistan region, and he certainly did prove that with the statistics he built up for himself. I mean, I don't think any Pakistani player has been close to that. Maybe
Yeah,
Rahman might find his lost glory, but we do know what he's capable of, right? This player
yeah.
just needs to start going in, and once he settles in, he is like a beast that cannot be stopped. But that being said, F4 is one of those teams that really thrives in the map of Miramar, Miramar being one of their best maps. So let's see what they have to offer on the table.
Exactly, we have seen some teams, especially like Stalwart Flex and F4. So these teams have had some good, decent outing in the map of Miramar, and it's still seems the way they are just trying to rotate. And maybe with the addition and replacement of the player like Rahman, they can obviously showcase the performance, and maybe they are just maybe they can look more dangerous because they look. But as you were talking about the player of F4 Esports, Team F4, and that was Crypto. So he was actually had a very good outing in the tournament, but for now, it seems that the players from Carnage Esports, with a different team vibes, they are playing. But Jiggle will be given the revival. But a trade knock has already been come on from both the sides, and Skylight Gaming and Carnage Esports. They are well aware how both these teams actually strategize.
Ah, yeah, this was one of the trending news. Carnage being acquired by Team Vibe. So, yes, the players are playing under a banner right now, and hard work leads you to better places. And yes, that led them to being taken over by an org. So, I think good for the players. And that's how the esports scene is developing. You talk about the players, you've got Praveen, you've got Malik, you've got Jiggle. So, sort of a mix roster is what we
Yeah,
are witnessing because Malik, I believe, was with Team Vibes earlier on, and Depain is also one of those rather new names that I'm witnessing over here. So it's not the classic Carnage that we witness in the PMPL, but it's sort of a kind of a new lineup tryout that they are, trying to go with. So let us
yeah.
see as to how they perform in this match.
Yeah. You still to see the performance that these teams are actually up to, because obviously a change in roster obviously sometimes goes in a favor, sometimes go against your favor, but you just need some time to actually get acclimatized to the gameplay that all the teammates and all these play for. And obviously it takes some time, because even four of the very best player, if you're thrown into same roster, they still take time, because you just need to hear the call how they are the teammates are trying to make, and you just need to believe in the players and in the teammate, because at the end of the day it is all about a team game. You cannot actually pull off a show until unless you are supported by your teammates. So yeah, it becomes actually important, but still I'm really looking forward up to how the Carnage Esports with the new name, the new banner, as you said, vibes will be up to, because D-Pain, a new addition, and obviously the three players, two players we have seen in the past performing brilliantly. So they must not take a very vast amount of time, because they all are again very experienced players. So just a game here or two, maybe they can find the groups themselves.
Yeah, of course. But taking a look right now at the action in front of us, you've got DRS this time, I think, around La Rulera. They are positioning themselves. One of those teams that we did speculate to win this time around. But looking at Jiggle and his teammate, Deepain, I think they sort of want to scout around, get or gather more information before they try and head into any fight or whatsoever. But right now, Blood Legion do realize that Voltrux was actually trying to come on towards them, and he
Yeah.
did exchange a few bullets. In fact, he's also getting traded off over there, but somehow he'll still manage to dodge off those bullets and will try to get back into safety. But I think he's just by his lonesome for now because the backup is finally arriving, and Voltrux somehow has successfully managed to retreat and stay alive.
Yep, he's still alive as he just has the cover of that ridge. But sooner or later, we may find these teams actually colliding because we are still into the very early half of the game, just 11 minutes 40 seconds, and apart from that one squad wipe, we still haven't seen any fight erupting, any classical fight where we can see a slamming. But now is the time. It seems that Khan is just trying to play aggressively. But this Nate, if this goes pretty well onto his face, Khan can be in a situation, is in a troublesome situation. Anyhow, he just manages to not get himself knocked. But throw up nades, we know how deadly it can be. But Blood Legion players have also realized that from multiple direction they can be taken out. But with that, the first knock coming from the sides of Blood Legion, as Dominic has already traded the player from F4, and that is Khan is going on. That means three other players are still surviving. Rahman coming from the backhand side, he's just trying to give the reinforcement, and with that, yes, Dominic has been taken down by Rahman.
Yeah, of course. And Gyro, he is gonna continue his obliteration over there. The way he's going in, and we do have a new player for Blood Legion. It's B1. So let's see how this player performs. He's gonna give in some revives. Dominic already down, and F already losing out on the IGL. That's gonna be Khan. Wolverine, however, will be getting that confirmation onto its Dominic. Now the numbers are equalized. Now this is where Team F4 can actually go in with the push, but Voltrox already spotting out one player over there, and that's going to be Gyro. He's still not making any movements though. Will of course want to just Molotov those areas, try to flush his enemy out, but instead finds out Reward. Now will be going after Gyro, and there you go. The
Look at
final
that.
kill also being secured, and Team F4 with a beautiful squad wipe. But yeah, just for our viewers, one of those kills of Team Blood Legion were stolen by Team Vibes.
Exactly, Carnage Esports onto the backline was they had that hawk's eye, but look at that Voltrux. I was just noticing the way he just tried to put in the molly from that opening. He just put in the molly just in order to paralyze the movement from Blood Legion, and then it was all easy for them because had the players from Blood Legion taken the audacity, had that audacity to go from that side, he would have taken some serious damage from that molly. But at that point, he just made sure. I'm talking about the player from F4 Voltrux. He just made sure that he won't be able to make the rotation and movement from that side, and that was all easy because some shots were already taken down from themselves. So, and he just knew that a player is just crouching on that area, and soon he'll be taken down. But let's head towards some other fight that's actually happening on the area of Valdemar, because Venom Legends are looking very strong up against one more giant team, and that is of A1 Esports. One kill has already been secured in the name of Venom Legends, and it seems that Rafat is playing a very good game. Shoykot again, can he pull out some blunder? Because we saw in the PMPL, A1 Esports were really struggling with the way they were trying to pull out the matches, and time and again we were seeing a roster change. But if this nade connects, it can be deadly for both the teams.
It certainly can be, and Sinister already taking quite some chunk of damage over there. Will of course retaliate back with a Molotov of his own, but Nightwing, he is being persistent over there. Oh, the last moment first aid coming up, otherwise he was basically a goner. And right now Nightwing yet to make his movement. Venom Legends controlling the situation to their advantage. A1 Esports already losing out on one of their players. Now Sinister sort of playing that cat and mouse game with Nightwing, just trying to tease him over there so that he comes out and makes some mistake, because right from the backlines we've got Shoykot and Jax providing that quintessential cover fire.
Exactly, but with that, I can see some more teams going to the fight as the players of Futurestation. One player was going down by the zone, and eventually his skill was stolen by some team, some players that was in the vicinity. But some other teams are also indulging into the fight as Seven Seas is going up against the players of DRS, as Galzan has already been pinched down. But look at the way Venom Legends are just trying to take the fights. We just saw a moment Nightwing was trying to aggress in a very good movement, but the way other players are just trying to give the cover fire and just trying to engulf the players of A1 Esports, this is a very good strategy. But you have to take in one thing in mind, that 300-meter you have to go into zone because the force shift has gone away from you, and if you find more yourself into these out of the zone area, you may find yourself in a double whammy situation.
Indeed. Now, considering how A1 esports are, well, Sinister, of course, needs to heal up, and by the looks of it, does not have a lot of meds to work around with. So, yeah, has to do something quick, needs to be on his foot every single moment because the push might be there any single time. So, considering we've got two different squads right beside each other, we could also anticipate a fight happening over there. But A1 esports is deciding to just march their way inside the zone, considering there is already a team gatekeeping that. It's going to be a very, very daunting task for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be. It will be, and some more teams also have to go into zone. But DRS, they are not looking good because one by one player also be taken over. But even Esports Jax has already been finished. That means the way they were trying to make a rotation, they just found themselves in a very wrong foot because they were already the players of T2K, and just because of that, Sinister has also been punished. But T2K Jane from another side, God X is just not stopping because they are just trying to maximize this situation as much as they can. And these all fights are actually happening on the northwestern part and western half of the circle, and these all fights are just happening because some of the teams from the western half are trying to make an entry, and their entry is already been rejected and retaliated by the team that is actually holding the stronghold of that situation. But with that, look at that mini tap shots. This can be a blessing for all of us to see.
Yeah, this indeed can be. But right now, talking about teams like LoG1 over here, this is one of the teams that I'm really acquainted to see them at the center of the circle, watching them play from the edges. This is a rather newer type of approach by this team, going against a team like God's Reborn. They have to be careful. And equally contested both these teams are, but there you go. AJ, just look at him, his vehicle exploding, and the miseries of DRS continues.
Exactly, and it seemed that the team has faced annulation because the 13th team in this lobby to make an entry to the lobby, and with that they have been exited. But Logi, as you were talking about, they are holding the edge, and can they play the edge? This can be a strategy from their side, but look at that. I can say on the eastern half, the congestion is lesser as compared to the western half because teams like 7C's Esports, Skylight Gaming are still onto that edge that are playing onto the western half of the circle. But look at that Carnage Esports sitting close to the dead smack center. Can this be a game? But Futurestation also struggling to make an entry. But 7C's, they are just not stopping as they are just trying to eliminate Futurestation that is just trying to come from the northwestern side.
Quite a lot of players are still alive, considering how taking a look at the circle. And it's the fourth circle just about to end. Got to see as to where the new zone forms. And Sketch, well, he did try to take a few nades, but in either ways, Team Gods Reborn did manage to get a knock over there on towards the players of Team Log1. And just after that one knock, they are directly committing in for the push because they know that this team right now is in shambles. You've got Fuad from the upper ground trying to just get up and take a few shots, but he was shot from absolutely every single direction and had to
Exactly.
thrown down in at the same very moment. Now coming down to the last player surviving for Log1, it's going to be Blank, and we have to see as to how he plays this fight out. He knows that someone is coming for him. Kova completely anticipating where he is, understanding his location, just pushing on towards him. And well, Blank is putting up a fight, but not enough. As finally, Team Lock 1 gets eliminated.
Yeah, Team Log gets in with a 10 spot, and Gorex must thank to the players of Carnage Esports because at one point Logi were facing the brunt from both these teams because from the front end, God X were just trying to make a push, and the moment the players from Logi was just trying to scout the area or maybe just trying to find an off angle from the backhand side, we can see Carnage Esports was just trying to decimate all these teams, but we just saw 7C's Esports bursting down the vehicle. Fear going down by his vehicle, taking that fall damage. And Skylight Gaming Heaven X finishes things off as Seven Seas also has been eliminated with that memo, has already faced an elimination. But look at that circle still holding with the teams of Carnage Esports. And from the other side, we can see teams like F4, teams like PN Crew trying to rotate. But for how long the players of Godex will hold this shack?
That's up to speculations, God's Reborn, considering the fact that they do have the circle, but we do have a fight emerging out between Team Vibes and Team F4 going in, as we've got all the players pushing on towards the players of Team Vibes, but eventually they decided to back off. It was not a situation in which they have equal numbers. It's three stacked up against four. So Team F4 needs to get that early opening if they decide to actually take on this compound.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they need to get into cover because they're way too much in the open, and Wolverine is trying to cook that grenade. Is that gonna make it through that window, though? That's a big question, because if it does, then yes, Team F4 do have a good chance. But if it does not, then basically nothing.
Yeah, but on the other side, PNG is also looking strong because they are also not allowing the players from Venom Legends to surpass that area, and we can see PNG all with the three players strong, just trying to make an entry. But also on this area of compound Carnage Esports, they are also being challenged by the player of F4. But I'll be really interested to see with that sixth shift, where would the circle go? Will it go into the center? We can see already some teams. I guess it is the team of Godek that is already into the circle, but Skylight Gaming, they just didn't realize that one team is also onto their back end, and we have seen that a vehicle also makes a lot of noise, and just because of that, it just got the attention to the players of Godex, and they were spot on with that spray. And with that, now is the time that Venom Legends is just retaliating as Killer Whitey has gone down.
Well, right now, Team F4 have their eyes set on towards the players of Skylight Gaming, but at the same time, it can be the trifecta of death that we're talking about. Team Vibes against Skylight Gaming against Team F4. This is a fight that all the fans would love to see just unfold in front of us. While elsewhere, we do have different fights happening, but Team Vibes taking quite some damage against the players of PN Crew, who are knocked out. A few of them, they need that revive, but getting back into the fight in action. We've got Joker going after Wolverine, knocking him out, and we've got to see as to what follows up, because Rahman leading the charge. He's just prone in for right now for this moment.
Yeah, we are just thrown in because he just not doesn't want the shots to be taken onto himself. But the bigger question is for T2K, for one Carnage Esports, that they were in the zone, but that circle shift, they have to make an entry. But will the players of F4 allow them to make an entry? This is a question that will be answered for sure. But from same side, players like Killer Whitey were trying to aggress. Ayush has also been eliminated. Killer Whitey also eliminated, and with that, we may see an elimination going down in the name of PN Crew, but he was just very much in the open. Praveen, you just cannot find yourself so much in the open and take the shots, and just because of that, Venom Legend has punished them very badly. But Voltrox still holding that at that angle. Does Malik have any idea that one player from F4 Voltrox is still surviving? If that nade goes spot on that area, this can be a game end for the players of Carnage Esports.
They certainly can. But right now, Team Vibes, well, they are trying to get inside the zone, but again, fighting against it.
Ooh,
So it's going to be
look
really
at that.
tricky for Praveen if he's going to survive. But right beside him, he's got Voltrox, and the exchange comes in, and Voltrox will make no mistake in taking him down. And D-Pain is also going to follow up, and it's going to be F4 with the smiles on the faces towards the very end. But no, hold on. Joker having spotted out Voltrox, just peppering down a few bullets, and Scarlet Gaming do of course want their sweet revenge, but Voltrox manages to somehow get into safety.
Yup. On the one hand side, some teams are actually taking the fight, and that it seems that T2K still 3 or 4 men strong, and they are holding the circle. Then this can be a game for them. But the way the players of Venom Legends are just trying to aggress, that they are not allowing the players from T2K to flourish. As Jane the player that actually made it way for T2K in the last day, in the last game of Erangel, and in the yesterday's game has also been taken down. So his revival becomes actually important because he was the player, the sole player that was actually carrying the whole team's burden in the last game, and we have seen these teams again flourishing again and again in the map of Erangel, and also this time T2K into the very last circle. Still, five teams are alive, but just eight players.
Yep, I mean, this is a kind of a competition that you would expect to happen, and T2K, of course, taking the scrims really seriously, being in the top three, I believe, and they are looking to not go back at all. And again, a very consistent performance. But what I really like from this game is how God's Reborn have really stepped up, and we've got Koa as the final survivor. What does he do over here, considering he's just shrouded himself in that smoke of over there. And
Yeah.
right now, we've got to see as to how T2K actually respond to this.
Yep, we have to still wait, but just T2K just trying to flush out the area, impair the vision because rated he still has that idea because he can still see the smoke, and just because of that he knows that one player is still into that area. He's just waiting not to let that player backstab the players of T2K, and just because of that a spray was already there into the action, but he just failed to connect some of the shot. But with that, Voltrux has been eliminated by the players of Venom Legends, and two teams within a fraction of a second has been eliminated. T2K obviously looking very much strong, and it seems that Night Breeding can also be taken down. And this game is just down to two teams, and that is Skylight Gaming and T2K, both the Nepali region dominating in this very first game of Miramar.
All right, so two Nepali teams making it to the final two over here. We've got Skylight against T2K, and T2K, of course, having that advantage heading towards their chicken. But Jane right now has taken quite some hefty amount of damage. It's just that one number advantage that T2K do have against Skylight Gaming, but it's gonna come down to nothing, considering the kind of experience these lads have. Heaven and Joker being one of the best players from this entire region. Let's see how they go up against T2K, who are not shabby
Exactly.
either. They kind of on the same levels. So let's see how this fight really pans out.
Yep, 3 versus 2 fight going into the numbers into the favors of T2K. Can the players from Skylight Gaming like Joker and Heaven X pull this off? It will be a blinder. But the way Jane is just trying to create a flank angle, this can be a deadly move because we have seen time and again Jane just tried to rescue his team and just try to lift up his team. But I can see a drop out there in that middle. Has Frankie taken a gun? Maybe if there is an M249, this can be delight. And having that mini generator into your hand into the last circle, that eventually adds a whole lot of confidence into you.
Indeed, it does. But right now, Scarlet Gaming, well, they're trying to get in close. They're going up close and personal. They are the ones who are rather aggressing. And by any means, Frankie, if he just spots out Heaven over here, then basically they're donezo. And considering how Scarlet Gaming are moving together in tandem, I really do not know what to say out of this, because this is the moment they need to be split. They need to have that crossfire angle built up. They're sort of playing the circle. They need to get in
Exactly.
20 meters inside the zone. That's going to be trouble,
Ooh.
as Jane finally managed to spot out Joker with the last surviving player. That's going to be Heaven, who has taken a hefty amount of damage, still tries to peek out, but that's not going to matter because T2K, they have done it again. And with 11 kills, well, again, another chicken dinner, but nothing taken away from the lads of Skylar Gaming. They did try their best, a
Yeah.
few mistakes here and there, but then again, top three position is certainly acceptable.
Exactly, a Venom Legends, Skylight Gaming, and T2K, the top three position. And in the very first game in the Irangles, yesterday's match, T2K also came with that chicken dinner and some good performance in the very first game. This is something that the fortune is actually repeating in the way T2K is trying to play. But Skylight Gaming also playing brilliantly because on yesterday game they just faltered down, but a very good chicken dinner into their name. But Venom Legends also 8 kills into the name, so this is also some good games. And again, Bangladeshi domination coming up with that.
We do have the Nepali teams really stepping up, and Venom Legends, of course, one of those Bangladeshi teams that did step up. And what I really, like this time was Team God's Reborn. No kidding, 100%. Because all the other teams in the top four were basically teams from PMPL. Now, for a team like God's Reborn to come in and then have the top four position for themselves, I mean, that's an accolade that I must talk about. And it did come up with one squad wipe as well. They went
Yeah.
after Team LoG1 over there. So, yes, this team did put in those extra bit of efforts. And in the next game, I would love to see as to how they're going to perform.
Exactly, and this actually sets up your momentum. And taking the fact that the three back-to-back games that will be panning out today, and all of the game will be Miramar. So obviously, you get the momentum, and once you have already performed very good in the last match, you need to carry on that momentum, and you just need to step up with that. And so talking about the step-up performance, yesterday we saw Bangladeshi domination. Today, in the very first game, we saw two Nepali team aggressing. That means obviously things are in an aberration mode, as we are seeing day after day another change into their game style. And just because of that, T2K also, they were the team to get that chicken dinner in the very first game. They also have managed safely to get that chicken dinner in the very first game of today's, and that was of Miramar.
Yeah, I mean, T2K, this is one of the teams that we did see them, kind of standing out from the previous to previous PMPL, the one in 2020. So,
Yeah.
yeah, in that edition, that is where this team came into limelight. Of course, this is a very old squad, very old roster, but that is where they started shining. Now, with addition of such amazing players over there, they're getting better by the day, and this chicken dinner is an example of how good they are. But at the same time, you've been talking about teams like DRS not able to perform, and yes, has to be because of a lot of mistakes they're making while traversing around. I think
Exactly.
the approach is way too casual over here. So yeah, if they sort of tend to get serious, I'm pretty sure they can get those points back in for themselves. But right now, considering how the match ranking is, we've got T2K on the first spot with 26 points.
Yep, 11 kills chicken into the name, and just because of that, 26 total points onto the name, as Venom Legends comes second with a total of 18 points in that list. F4 Esports also did some decent job. So we have been talking about the Pakistani teams actually doing decently in the map of Miramar, and F4 Esports just trying to make that happen. And 14 points also to Skylight Gaming. Carnage Esports also coming up in the frame with total of 11 points. And you're talking about God Reborns, they are in the group A. So the next game they will be missing, because after that B and C will be playing. So 7C is Esports with that 7 total points. And also the second half of the chart, some teams were actually missing the mark. And apart from Magnus Esports, all of the team have got that at least 1 point in their name.
Yep, I mean, Magnus Esports will not really be happy with themselves after this one, but still one more game for this particular squad to really step up. But at the same time, this is where I want to see teams like A1, Futurestation, Freestyle, Blood Legion, DRS really step up. Even the likes of R3G. I think the last time I was casting the South Asia Pro Scrims, R3G was one of the teams, and it was Miramar. They were absolutely dominating. So yeah, you would expect a lot from such teams over here, but yeah, for that they really have to come in and deliver. But with that being said, it's just still the first game that we
Yeah.
did go with, and in the next one we will of course have teams coming in from group number C. But taking a look at the overall rankings, of course, has to be T2K. They were on the top, and they're sort of continuing that run.
Yep, they are the top. They are still on the top with that 142 total points, and now is the time that they are just trying to edge themselves off, and they are just trying to trespass that lead, which can actually be taken off, and they are just trying to secure themselves with total of 142 points. They will be soon closing to 150 and 160 points. F4 Esports following them next. God's Reborn 109 points, 7C Esports 104. So apart from that first and second, we can see some closing points from 3 to 8, on which high voltage is still there. STALWARTxFLEX, just because they didn't play the first game, but with Group C coming into the play for the next two games, they will be in action. But let's talk about some of the teams that are on the second half of the chart. PN Crew 89 points, 1952, just slipping one mark, because before this game they were on the ninth position. A1 Esports, I can see them down below at 15th spot. So they are still trying. Let's try. try some one more time when they come into the action. But Skylight Gaming, they also had a good outing. Then just because of that, they were just able to find themselves in the second half of the chart.
Now with Group C coming in to action, you've got teams like R3D, Deadeyes, the likes of 1952, who have sort of established themselves as one of the greatest teams from the Bangladeshi region, all due to their performance in the PAPL this time. I really want to
Yeah.
see as to how they're going to step into the fray and perform against all these big names. You've got even the likes of High Voltage, who's according to me are sort of having a really tough time. They're going through that dip phase, and they need to really come up, just go beyond that. But either ways, I mean, the way this thing has happened, I mean, the next map of Miramar, we'll have different groups going up against each other. I think it's going to be B and C. So I'm really excited as to see how these teams are going to play, because now we did have a look at the overall standings, right? F4 and Team T2K, well, they do have a difference over there, but still, both the teams getting enough points, being consistent overall, so definitely does help them in the long run.
Exactly, we have to see them, but two more actions will be coming on their way. And for those who have just tuned in, two more actions, that means two more Miramar. But with that, we'll just head towards a very short breather. We'll be right back.
Let's get it.
So hi guys, and again welcome back to PUBG Mobile Pro Stream South Asia, and this event is brought to you by Nord Gaming. My name is Ankit, and joining me alongside with is Pain Fixes.
Well, thank you so much. And here we are with the second game just about to get started. And well, this time, yeah, the boys from Deadeyes are going to be
Yeah,
coming in. And well, I'm going to tell you one thing. They've definitely have got a really steely demeanor as to the way they stare at all the
exactly.
other teams. We've seen that. We're all privy to the fact that after winning their games, they try to pull off some shenanigans over there. But apart from that, apart from Deadeyes,
Yeah,
we've got 952 again, one of the teams that has qualified for the
yeah.
PMPL Championship finals over there. And I really want to see as to what this team puts on the table today.
Exactly. They have been a really promising talent if we talk about them playing in the PMPL, and they just managed to sneak themselves up in that finals, and they must be looking very decent with that because. Not only 952 from this group, STALWARTxFLEX is also one team that I'll be looking up forward because they
Yeah.
were on that top half of the chart, and just because they were not playing in the last match, but back to back two games will be given to them, so more opportunity onto their name, and I'll be looking really up to them how they are gonna be showcasing because as you said, Scrims is all about how you practice and how just you strategize your gameplay. Eventually, you just get two games in a day, but if we talk about whole, you get a lot of game to actually think and strategize about.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there you have it. Two games. It's fine. These teams get into a lot of different third-party scrims as well. So they've, of course, practicing, putting in that effort. But right now, we've got the flight path trajectory, sort of a similar one, but
Exactly.
this time a bit tilted towards El Pozo and
Exactly.
not towards La Cubrera like we had
Yeah.
last time. But where do you think, Ankit, will the circle go?
So last time I predicted the circle to go to the east half of the circle. It went to the west. This time I again go to the east half of the circle because just because on the western side, close to western side, it is being dominated. So areas like Torreo, Mother, Campo Militar, Cruz de Valle, if circle takes a shift, taking a center into that, I'll be more interested to see because then we get to see more bloodshed because teams go right off the bat in the fight. But lastly on this will also be again in the area of contestation. As Stalwart Flex is back into the action, that means A1 Esports will be giving them a tough fight in that area.
They will, of course. I mean, but then again, Stalwart Flex is one of the teams that tends to go a bit south. But this
Yeah.
time, sort of sticking over towards,
Oh,
A1 Esports again, a fight that we are sort of privy to since the last PMPL, watching these two teams go up against each other. But take a look at the circle. I was sort of anticipating that central shift to happen, considering how the circle went. And this is something that we do get to see in Miramar a lot. But that being said, Futurestation, Gremlin, Storm already in an engagement against a certain team. That's against Team LoG1. And well, what do we see? Bad Trip already biting the dust.
exactly in the very first half of the game. Just 2 minutes we are ticking to the clock. Future Station one player has been sent to the lobby, but this fight can be a deadly one onto that. And I'm just really looking forward up to this fight because we will have a conclusion. We will have a bottom line for sure because Future Station are gonna hit them back because they will not actually stop. But this nade, if this comes, Kapshi can be taken down, and yes, one more knock comes into the fair, but Kapchi's next also connected, and just because of that, we can see Kraken going down. But the best part for them is that both of the teammates will give a revival as the reinforcement just comes in and fixes. How are you feeling right now after seeing that back-to-back traded off nades?
Quite interesting to be honest, considering this is a completely different version of log 1 is what we're witnessing right now. We have seen this team in the past really go in for the positioning. This is a team that tends to avoid those early fights. Now when push comes to shove, they are not shying away from this fight, and going against a team like Future Station, Gremlin, Storm that haven't have been having the best of their days. I think it's a fight that they can really afford to take. And well, of course, with Badrev out of the scenario over here, I think this is a fight in which Logwin can actually try aggressing towards.
Yep, they can because they already know that Future Station are already down with one man. So a number disadvantage is a thing that can go against the player of Future Station. But talk about the player of Battery. We have seen that player performing again and again when Future Station as a team whole performed well. So this is a player that Future Station has been relying on.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he's one of those OGs of the region. The one player, or in fact, one of the player of that crucial team, INES, the Golden Days. If you talk about the very first edition of PMPL, that's where we kind of came to know about them, and that's from where we've been nothing but big fans as to how they've been playing. But then again, a lot of things have happened, and their gameplay sort of took the other way around the curve, and it sort of went going down. And they're still
Yeah.
searching to redeem themselves back. A lot of mistakes clearly visible in this lineups performance. But considering the players that they do have, I think. If they sort of get their heads straight up into the game, completely focused up, this is a team
Yeah.
that's very difficult to stop.
Yeah, but it is very difficult to stop once you get into the action and once you go for that rhythm. And very well explained by you how Future Station has been once the OGs and the players being OG, and now they are just starving for that some good mark they are just trying to make. But with that. As we just were discussing, this fight is still on because Machine is still not shying away because the two teammates from the Future Station have crossed the roadside and they have already went to the compound, but Machine is just trying to create that flank angle. But for how long all these fights will continue? From their perspective, from their POV, they are already into zone, so they can they have that privilege, they have that cushion to stall the fight and maybe create some other flank action and get some more knocks and openings.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Future Station, Gremlin Storm, really wanting to take this fight. That's good for this team. What they really need right now is actually to find themselves in a few skirmishes against different squads over there. Of course, they are a man down, but they didn't. Battev still tried. He did manage to get a knock. It was again
Yeah.
the numbers disadvantage that he had. But elsewhere, we've
Yep.
got the lads from 1952, and I believe Seavine is a latest addition to their roster coming in from Eccentric Infinity. So, quite interesting. And I'm starting to wonder now as to if this player is actually going to be playing with the squad in the championship finals, because we have, of course, seen Eccentric Infinity in the PMCO could not make it to the PMPL, but Seavine, he was definitely one of those players to watch out in this tournament, and having Seawine in their roster, I think that's a really positive thing for 952 at this moment.
Yeah, they are looking forward to take all these fights, and just because of that, we have already seen some of the teams are changing and going for the different rosters, and 952 also going with the same mark. And let's see if they will be able to take the fight against the players of Tough because 1952 they have looked very much promising. But let's talk about this team. DRS, the real soldiers, they have been they are the crown champion, and for now the last game also didn't go into their favor. This is a game that they must be looking up to decimate and to pulverize the opponent because already they are sitting on the third of the chart. If they guns all go blazing, I won't be even surprised fixes.
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree with you, because the way this team has been playing, we do know how good they are, right? But then again, you've got DRS in front of us. Then, this is all right, all right. They getting into some early collisions. By the looks of it, they sort of want to trade a few items here
Yeah.
and there. Hey, you gotta give me that ammo. Hey, you gotta trade me that first aid. So all that stuff happening right now, right out in the open. Definitely, I would kind of advise against doing that. But again, it's a scrim. DRS do know the fact they're playing pretty chill, nothing much to worry about. But sea wine, that's a completely different story over here. Having spotted the players of R3D, I believe, and any single moment he's just about to take the shots.
Yup, all the players it seems that have been spotted, and look at that split from the players of 1952. C Wine holding that bridge area and entry again, holding that entry position. We have seen entry making an entry and opening for his team when 1952 were in action in the PMPL, and again. This team is playing with the same strategy, and he's the player that actually goes for that early fight and opening. And with that, it seemed that Tough has realized that they need to go into zone, but do they know that one team is already onto the backhand side, and that is of 1952?
Well, they're sort of oblivious in the dark about the same. But I really thought for a second, that's the new team of R3D, considering Edgar was there. But I believe it's a different Edgar. So a lot of common names and mistakes do happen. We are
So
humans.
two Edgar played from the same side yesterday.
That's even more tricky. Imagine, I mean, we
Yeah.
are casters, we do have hearts. It gets so difficult while casting two Edgars in the same team. I mean, what do you say? What do you call them? Red Edgar, Blue Edgar, Edgar 1, Edgar 2?
So in yesterday, the second one was Edgar, and the third one was Edgar, and obviously the first and the fourth slot was occupied by the other Edgar, but we're still not able to actually picturize that which real Edgar is there. But one player is able to take some damage onto the players of Logi and Mafia Ninja with that kill. Can that kill be capitalized, and can with that kill he will be able to gain that momentum? But I can see the hobby, he was on to that 1 HP. That means he has just popped in that first aid, and with that, Mafia Ninja DRS, they are looking good.
Yeah, of course. And DRS now understanding the fact that it's
Ooh.
LoG1 right in front of them. Look at AJ already ramming in. Kjolson providing that quintessential cover fire from the backlines along with Nima with Mafia Ninja on the right flank. This is very well orchestrated by DRS, but still waiting for AJ to get that first knock over here in this compound fight that DRS look to be engaging, and they certainly aren't deterred. They do want to go and just waiting for the right moment to strike, where Nima already pushing in and taking some heavy damage.
Exactly. Dima has been brought down to 10 HP but has survived well into this situation. But Galzan again onto the backhand side. He's just trying to give that cover fire. But the way Blank is just trying to move, it seems that he has noted down the player's movement, and it can be a game end for Logi because they have already been surrounded from all the area. All they can do is just to try to reposition themselves, because Nima with that flank angle, with that top area, can do wonders, and they are looking very dangerous from Logi's player. Oh my goodness, that nade just got deflected. Had that nade connected, things would have been more difficult for the players of Logi.
Yeah, of course, it certainly would have been, as Nima again being spotted out. The nade
Ooh.
not really going into the right direction. In fact, it was a smoke, so not a thing of concern, not really something that I have to worry about for this team. But the fight is still won now. LoG1, as entire team of DRS has marched in. Muffin Ninja from the backlines, I think is gonna go in close any single moment. But how are LoG1 gonna withstand this absolute mean force of nature that is DRS, as Nima lobs another grenade, and somehow Blank is still surviving, still trying to handle all those bullet damage coming out. But Kjolson will be the one finally entering in, getting that knock onto its Blank, and will get that quick confirmation. But we do have the hobby over here just spraying down. It's a pre-fire coming in from his side, but now DRS do acknowledge for the fact that Team LoG1 is reduced to just a
Oh.
one-man squad. Now it's all upon the hobby, and the push is coming in from every single direction. Takes down one player, but that's just about it, as DRS just goes in and completely annihilates LoG1.
Exactly, an onslaught coming in from the sides of DRS and Log1, just not looking good in this match again. And this was not the start that they would have hoped up for. But look at that, 3 kills out of the total 4 that DRS has secured has gone into the players and into the name of Galzan. He is back in action. That means the team can soon be very fatal in nature. And with that, some more players are going down one by one, as Carnage Esports Praveen has also taken down one player. And look at that, Circle has already made a shift. Now the bigger question is, if we look at that minimap, fixes R3D
Yeah.
are still out of the zone, and they still have to cover a decent amount of journey.
I think they're playing from the edges. That's been their approach in this game. Perhaps that is what we can witness. But right in front of us, we've got Team Vibes or Carnage, as you may call it. That's what they were formerly known as. But still, in the slots, it is written Carnage, so we might have to consider them Carnage unless and until we are sort of updated on that. But either way, STALWARTxFLEX coming into the action. One of my favorite teams from Pakistan finally trying to
Exactly.
test their metal over here. You've got all the players all fired up, but we do have a skirmish going on between Skylight Gaming and Team Carnage over here.
Yes, and the area of power grid has become a hot area of contestation as some of the teams are also joining in the frame. But with that Malik, with that M24 shots, we can see some heads being chopped off and popped off. But it seems that on the other half of the map, some all teams are also joining in the frame as Futurestation are taking the players of Deadeyes Guys one by one. But Malik has been traded in this fight, and it seems that Skylight Gaming have sensed the situation that one team is just trying to prevail in this area. One mistake that Carnage Esports did was to not clear the backhand side of them, and just because of that, they have been punished because they were trying to scout one of the area.
They indeed were. Now, well, they have to kind of reposition themselves. We've got a lot of fights breaking out. It's still the third circle,
Yeah,
just shrinking in. Uh, 14 teams still alive. Not a lot of fights is what we have witnessed. So, kind of a different approach towards Miramar, out of which we witnessed the first game to be quite aggressive in terms of the second game as to what we are really witnessing over here. Now,
exactly.
R3D, they find themselves in a kerfuffle with a certain team, getting a few knocks for them. But Team
Yep.
Carnage, they do have the high ground advantage. But Deadeyes finally getting to lock horns against Future Station Gremlin Storm. But are the players aware though? Do Future Station Gremlin Storm know that there's a squad right in front of them? Considering the smokes that have been, just drawn out over there, they do have a slight idea as to there being a team, but I don't think they have an entire information. And well, on top, an illusion have already lost on their lives.
Yep, two players have already been eliminated, and it's just down to the two players surviving from Deadeye Guys. But they still have to play this game very cautiously because if you see from that map on the backhand side of them are the players of Skylight Gaming. But Evelai, a brilliant spray coming in from his side, and just because of that, Hungry Box, it seems that one player is still Hungry Box. It from the sides of Deadeye Guys still surviving, and eventually he will give the revival. But Scarlet Gaming must be looking up to secure all these kills. But look at that Future Station, just not allowing any team to flourish in the area because on the one hand side, some players like Evilai have been actually located to take the fight against Deadeye Guys, and also on the second half, on the other side of this coin, they are trying to not let R3D come into zone from backhand side.
I mean, right now, Future Station, Gremlin Storm, had they known for a fact that Deadeyes was a two-man squad over there, they could have easily pushed in.
Yeah.
So that was not the case over here. They did anticipate it to being a full four-man squad, and it's wise, right? We as casters, we as viewers, we do know where the players are, but these players do not. But elsewhere, I'm witnessing Prabeen just blowing up the entirety of STALWARTxFLEX from a vehicle explosion over there. Certainly not the kind of a start STALWARTxFLEX would have wanted for themselves. And well, Johnny being taken down. So I mean, not the kind of a start that they would have wanted. Definitely.
Yep, calamity has actually struck to the players of Stalwart Flex, and I just saw the total number of team 14 being changed to 13. And my gut feel is that maybe Stalwart Flex is the team that has faced an elimination. We have to still wait for that, but one more fight is still erupting. If you see on the southern half of the circle, and high voltage is up against the players of Tough, and they are just not allowing them to make an entry. A nade was thrown eventually onto the place of Aussie, and he barely survived. But for how long will he survive? Because one more follow up Molly, he just popped in this first aid at the right time. But no, Aussie from that inferno, he just tried to make an entry. Just because of that, he has been knocked down.
All right, so high voltage again, one of those teams playing from the edges this time. Not really being the kings of the hill. They certainly want to be on top, but that is not the case over here because there's another team that has already taken that spot. In this case, it's going to be Team TUF and of course Team Vibes also. But Skylight Gaming, Shari does spot out Khan in the process. But look at Thor taking a few shots onto it, the players of INES, but they somehow get out of that area safely. Now they have to get inside the circle or to a better position. Whatever it is, they have to do it quick. But high voltage,
Exactly.
well, their vehicles are pretty much exploding.
Yep, they have to actually secure all these vehicles because this will eventually help them for that potential cover that the players make, and also they have to make a rotation. But with that, fixes, look at that. The circle is about to make a fifth shift, but still 44 players are still alive.
Yeah. I mean, 44 players still alive, and clearly shows how competitive this map has been so far. A1 Esports finally getting themselves a piece of the action over here as they go after Scarlet Gaming. Heaven has been taken down of the equation, but TUF's Thor has, of course, spotted out Newt, but discipline lacking in the way he took those shots could have easily taken him down. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's again SKS. You need to make sure you've got all the attachments to that weapon because it really heavily relies on the that cheek pad, on that light grip, on that compensator to really go in and start giving you that kind of stability that you would want with that DMR.
Yes, you have to. You have to. But with that high voltage, still just not going. Try to go down into the zone because they are still holding that. They're just waiting for the circles to make a shift, and after that, they would be trying to make an entry. But Team Tough, they are holding a very good stronghold of this area, and they are still on the top. Can they make it to the other zone? That a question because we are still seeing some of the teams. Most of the players are very much visible, but still tough. They haven't been able to secure any kill into the number.
Yeah, they certainly haven't been. But there you have it. High voltage. Otzi, in fact, getting two knocks out right here in front of us. And high voltage, they're seeing to, kind of change the tides into their favor. One good nade might just get those two kills confirmed. Because Salu, he's outside the zone, rather opting for a healing battle as the fifth circle is coming close in, and Newt will be going down as well. And it is,
Yeah.
of course, going to be Cooney who's going to get that kill confirmed for them. But high voltage, I mean, considering the conditions that they were playing under, they've done a pretty decent job.
Exactly. They have done decently, and they have just managed to eliminate one team had they had to go into the zone. So one objective have already been taken down. Now it's the time that they need to eliminate some more players, and it seems that INES only one player, Yasno, is still surviving, and now is the time that they would loot all these crates, but still some pan throwing action because he was just expecting the last player to be there, and just because of that, he just didn't want himself to be in that open. But Hungry Box has given his skill to the play zone.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to die, considering you do not want to give it to your opponents. They're getting that extra 1 point. Deadeyes do realize that, but here we have Edgar just hard peeking onto its Odzie's location. But teams like Vibes, teams like TUF, they are capitalizing on this higher ground. But now this advantage is gone. They have to
Yeah.
get inside the circle, and considering the lot of noise that they've made, it's definitely not going to be an easy transition.
Yep, they have to go in the zone, and considering the fact that they have already made a lot of noise, and they have already let other players know that they are present in that proximity, it won't be an easy task and will be a daunting task. And we are witnessing one by one the players from Tough going down. But this nade, if this connects, this can be a dangerous situation for the players of A1 Esports. But still, Aussie just need the revival. But high voltage, they also need to go into zone 100 meters still into zone. That's the total distance they have to travel, and just because of that, they are just trying to pop in some smokes, and we can see a rotation coming in from their side. But the way they would be trying to rotate, it can also be a situation if Edgar gets spotted down, this can be a game end for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Extreme just spraying down with his weapon, and Edgar somehow narrowly managing to escape from that situation. High voltage, however, have been spotted out by A1 Esports. I don't think they're gonna give them that opportunity to go in. So the smokes are definitely gonna follow up. But Dante being spotted out by Extreme, he's gonna take quite some heavy chunk of damage. Now this is the moment where teams like High Voltage need to ensure that they get the knock and try to go in. But despite that fact,
Exactly.
they're going through the smoke, making that ballsy play happen. And Kuni already bleeding. I think it's gonna be really impossible for the players of High Voltage to get that res back onto him, as Ozzy is still spraying through the smoke, applying that extra bit of a pressure onto the players of A1, as they've taken a back foot over there.
Exactly, but one thing that the knock player Kuni has done well, that he has just tried to crawl himself down as to not let that play zone take the better part of him, and just because of that, we may see him being revived. But no, Dante from another side has already taken down the players. But now is the time that they are being backstabbed, as 1952 are also taking down the players of A1 Esports one by one. But Thor still 0 kill into his number, but total of 4 kill. Can he survive the onslaught coming in from the players of INES? Because this will be a 1v1 fight, because Thor is also the last player surviving from his side, and Yasno is also the last player surviving from INES. And a moment back, we saw both of these teams were actually trying to get the better off of themselves, but High Voltage Aussie has also been eliminated.
Yep, he has indeed. But look at Thor and
Ooh.
Yasuo. Of course, Yasuo getting that final kill, but gets traded off instantly by Magnet coming in.
Yes.
1952 being the creepy buggers from the backlines, just going in, taking down anyone in front of them. But looking at the zone shift, it definitely is favoring the lads over here from 952. All they have to do is hold themselves up. Now we have that, trifecta getting into place, the Mexican standoff, as we call it. A
Yeah.
4v4v4, a proper one. Let's see who comes out as the victor.
Yes, we are down to the 6th zone, and with that, 12 players are still alive. But Nima takes the initial knock onto them, but Jax has made the trade knock. So, trade knock into the action. So, collateral damage has also been done. But with that, Dante, the revival is still the key. AT has also been down, and this is the moment that A1 Esports is just trying to make the most of it. And this can be a game 8 for Mafia Ninja, as he is the sole man surviving. It seems that he just need to take that, bide the time, some time out of that situation. But 1952 is also being pinched down one by one. A1 Esports doing the maximum damage they can do, because 8 kills into their number.
I mean, 1952, they definitely aren't giving up, and C Minor being the last player surviving, he's got to do something. He's got Magnet, of course, who's apparently healed himself up right now. Going up against Sinister, it's going to be such a difficult task. But right now, what they all have to focus on is getting those res back up. But no, it's
Oh.
1952 who are going to be putting that final bullet into the heads of Sinister and going to be walking off with the chicken dinner on this one. 11 kills is the number, and of course that is the amount of kill points that this team will obtain. And what a run it has been for this team, going up against
Yeah.
their parent organization, that is A1 Esports, facing them in a 4v4, taking them down, qualifying to the championship finals. I think we have a new good team, or rather the new best team from A1.
They have been looking very promising, the way they just trying to aggress. And maybe the PMPL was the scenario and was the launch pad. From there they actually made the most of it. But look at that, A1 Esports also had some good kills number, if we talk about that, because 9 kill is still what they have been able to secure. But DRS, they have also shined in this match with total of 11 kills. So 3 teams, and we were talking about DRS, that they just need to go all in. And we just witnessed that happening, Fixes.
We indeed did, and you've got to give it to these players. I mean, the way they went all in. I think I was most impressed with how A1 Esports and 952 really played in this one, considering how things
Yeah.
were stacked up against them. I mean, 1952, that has to be one of the most clever plays coming out from them. They were not too flashy. They played completely in a textbook style. Kind of went in for those backstabs, caught got a lot of kills here and there.
Exactly.
Then in those final fights, it was completely set up for them. Now the zone was favoring them, and for a moment, when the fight really started off, A1 Esports was having the upper edge. They had obtained the majority of the knocks. Then that is where 1950 to come in quick succession, getting equal trade-offs, and also managing to get a revive on their player, having things in stacked up in their favor. That's 2-1. That's where Sinister knew that he's all by his lonesome. He had to go in for the revive. The moment he came out of cover, he was instantly taken down, and 1952 walking off with a beautiful chicken.
Yep, it was a very well crafted chicken dinner and a very well orchestrated chicken dinner from their side. And with that, we'll be heading towards a match ranking as 1952, the chicken dinner team that actually got. But DRS also, we were expecting them to come up, and some more teams actually acting strongly if we talk about A1 Esports. But look at that drop from 26, 21, and 21 to 210 total points. That significant drop if we see on that match ranking from this match.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we do see DRS. Again, I did tell you, the moment these lads decide to get serious, that's where they're going to step in the fray. But yeah, kind of a disappointing outing, I must say, from the Pakistani teams. I really expected a lot out of them.
Exactly.
Of course, TUF trying whatever they could do. But, F4 needs to kind of bring in the heat. You've got Rahman
Yep.
with you, and STALWARTxFLEX again. It's the first game. Can't really scoff them about it. But in the next one, when they go against the teams from Group A,
Yeah.
you would expect them to step up. Now, this was quite unfortunate considering the fact that they got eliminated while they were traversing. But that's a part of the game.
Exactly, but they are still holding the second position because F4 are still with that 12 point. Train to Kill still holding that bastion, the stronghold. But some teams have actually performed decently, and 1952. I'm surprised with the way they have actually performed because from the second half of the chart, they have made a long leap to the first half of the chart.
Yeah, and with still one more game extra to play.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that is how good they're playing. And of course, if they sort of get one more chicken, they might just get the second spot over here. But Train to Kill continuing their first position, they're sort of sticking towards it and have kind of amassed a decent lead against F4. But as we move all along, now DRS, this is where they finally get back into the second page over here. This is something really promising considering they were in the third one. Now, this one game is definitely going to help their cause. Now, this is one of the teams that kind of maintains that equal balance between the position points and the kill points. That is what
Yeah.
they've clearly done. Now, you talk about Team F4. This is one of the teams that is really aggressive, considering if you kind of match them against the likes of T2K, they still had more number of kills before the
Yep.
second game started. So now after this, of course, T2K is going to take a step further. But either ways, I mean, all the teams, they're putting their hearts out, and it's been a rather interesting affair so far.
Yep, and some teams also joining the frame because the team tough, they are still not able to make on the second chart, but still some good performance coming up from their side because before this game we just saw lingering them in the bottom three on that 23 to 24 position. But with that team tough also showing some good intent to make a comeback on the first half of the chart.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the intent is always there from Team Tough, and dropping off right from the very start, sort of, trying to avoid those early fights. This is a team that's still, figuring themselves out. One of the old guards of the Pakistan region, I must say, they have seen their dark days, but this is where they need to
Exactly.
get into the lighter ones. This is where they step into and showcase who they actually are.
Exactly, and with that, we are down to two games. That means one more action, one more Miramar is still yet to be witnessing in front of us. But with that, we'll just head towards a very short breather. You don't go anywhere, but because we'll be right back. Hello, guys, and welcome back to PUBG Mobile Pro Scrims South Asia. And this whole event is brought to you by Northern Gaming. My name is Ankit, and joining alongside me is Pain Fixes. So, what are your expectations from this very last match of the day?
All right. So Group A and Group C going up against each other. The same map that we have is Miramar. Now, we did, see the Bangladeshis dominate this one. The Nepalis dominate the first one, which clearly indicates to one thing that I really want is the Pakistanis winning the
Exactly,
third, sort of
exactly.
maintaining that balance
Balance.
between all the
Yeah,
three regions. So yeah, I think I'll be going for a Pakistani this team this time.
you have to.
Mostly, I think has to be STALWARTxFLEX.
Exactly. When we talk about Group C and Group A clashing against each other, and we know because of that stalwart flex in the Group C, so we expect these teams to actually come up. So any team, it may be freestyles, it may be F4, but we have to look forward at which teams are actually looking forward for this match. But one thing is for sure that stalwart flex, as you just said, I also have a very high expectation because in the first match. It was a Nepali team going for that chicken dinner. In the second match, it was that Bangladeshi team. So maintaining that balance and to get that proportion filled in for themselves as well. A chicken dinner is demanded from the side of Pakistan region.
Yeah, I mean, the lads just need to get into the flow, and Miramar is has always been the strong suit or the stronghold of the Pakistani teams. Of course, if you talk about Miramar, then you come to remember of a team called Bablu. I don't know what's going on with the team right now. They are visible here and there, but we did witness quite some roster shuffles. But either way, is hoping for this team to come back. One of the most loved teams from the Pakistan region. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with our final game of the evening. The flight path trajectory completely opposite this time, but still a
Exactly.
same one. Going from
Yep.
La Cobreria towards the southern side of Los Leones. It's just the pointers that are different, but it's basically like the same wine served
Yeah.
in a new bottle.
So yeah, the flight path has just been retraced, and there has just been a flip because from in the last and the very last match we just saw from the southern side to the northern side, the side has just been changed. That means some teams that take an exit from the flight to the northern half, they will get the opportunity to loot more and they will land at the very first base. But with that, I can see some teams heading towards the area of Los Leones, teams like Stalwart Flex, A1 Esports. They have been constantly going to that area, so they would also love to go to that same area.
Oh, they certainly would. But
Ooh,
look at the zone, Ankit. Now, this is something that nobody would have thought in their wildest of imaginations. Now, we've been
yeah.
witnessing that somehow, rather central circle, a bit towards the southwest sometimes, here and there. But this is a whammy. This is a complete, curveball right off the bat.
Yep. 50% of the total zone, total area is in the water. And can we see a knocks before the players actually land on the surface? Because Legend with that Scarl, it actually becomes very difficult to retrace the movement when you are trying to shoot the players from the air.
Yeah, it certainly kind of becomes difficult, but you already have Frankie going after the players of Deadeyes, with Shifu already being
Yeah,
taken out of the picture over here. That's not a good news. But you have Chain from the same team falling down to the players of Starlet Flex. Now, a
exactly.
lot of, early scuffles that we are getting to witness. Of course, B1 also going after Anubis. Now, a lot of things are happening now. Sarga will, of course, get in time to get the res back up. But Uzim, well, gotta see as to how he responds to the situation.
Again, Jane, the survivor, the player that actually helped them get all those points, has been knocked down. But this is the thing that T2K knows how to deal with this, and with that, a revival has gone on to the name. But Stalwart Flex, we just saw a moment back. They were just trying to eliminate the players, and we were talking about this team before this match even started, and they are right off the bat. They are looking very decent, very good because they made that opening knock. That means that they have already made their presence feel.
Yeah, they absolutely have. But STALWARTxFLEX, well, they're sort of not really making any hasty moves over here, just waiting for the right opportunistic moment to strike. But well, in the meanwhile, elsewhere we've got R3D taking some heavy beating from the players of Blood Legion. Now, the last player, the last survivor, Virus, he's making a run for his life. And I mean, you talk about Virus, kind of creeps me from the within, because of course, not to the player, but the virus around all of us. So all you viewers watching this, get yourself sanitized, stay safe, stay indoors is what I would really say. Things are getting really worse, but by maintaining certain precautions, we can all be safe. But here we have Blood Legion, going after virus, no, deciding to just stay away from them. Now Blood Legion, they're smart, so yeah, maintaining that social distancing over here will
Yeah.
of course help them in their cause.
Yup, and with that golden Mirado, it is always a luxury having a driving hand onto that side because Blood Legion, we have seen them going to again and again to the area of Hacienda del Patron, and that's the place that golden Mirado actually gets spawned.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that one place where it really happens. But then again, coming back to freestyle, so you've got Tyrant, you've got Gully Boy, we've got Vegeta, and Mima. So again, freestyle has gone with a Rosa Shuffle. We've got Gully Boy and of course Mima, the new additions. So gotta see as to how they're playing, and Tyrant also from a different team. So yeah, I mean, freestyle going through a complete makeover over
Yeah.
here. Gotta see as to how they perform in this one. And here are the winners of our last game, 1952, all happy and in all smiles, rotating with the Mirado.
Exactly, and close to 1800 meter is the total distance that they have to travel. So, fixes it actually becomes important if we talk about the map of Miramar, taking those distance into the mind because once you reach to the distance, then is the time that the circle makes a second shift. So you don't get much of the time between the first and the second circle shift, and obviously when you find yourself into that zone, and not only that, you have to find yourself in a good spot because in Miramar, if you don't get the compounds, you play with all these ridges.
Yeah, of course. I mean, see, in Miramar, it's going to be really essential that you need to have a vehicle, number one. Second, like all the other maps, you need to respect the circle. And third, you need to understand the way you're approaching the zone, right? Approaching the game. How are you doing it? Are you playing that central meta, or are you going in from the edges? So your approach completely varies and depends on what you're thinking or how you want to really execute it. What really comes in as that X factor, I must say, is of course the timing and the availability of your vehicles. And I'm not talking about Mirado over here. This is a map where Mirado might seem flashy, might offer you that extra bit of a pace on those highways, but that's just about it. In those critical terrains where you've got that
Yeah,
hilly areas coming in, that's when you would want to have something like a Bucky for yourself, or
exactly.
maybe an US.
Exactly. Maybe an open truck or a buggy is what these players are looking up forward for to help them get into the zone and to traverse because obviously a buggy it has that ability to let that terrain not eventually affect you the way it actually traverses, and also the open truck obviously helps them, but Mirado is obviously a susceptible or a more vulnerable option if we take all these vehicles in perspective too.
Yep. Now, considering how Deadeyes have started off losing out on Shifusa, not the kind of a performance that they would have wanted for themselves. I still remember that game of Miramar when it was a 1v4 situation against the players of NFPxSky, if I'm not wrong. They clutched it out. This team is that good, Shifu is that good. So, not having him alive anymore in this lobby is definitely not gonna help their clause. But you've got
Yeah.
Wadu, you've got Hungry, you've got on top each a player with a class of their own. So yeah, Deadeyes is definitely one of those star-studded rosters that you would expect bigger things from them. But God's Reborn, apparently they find themselves in a bit of a fight. But 952, they are going after Deadeyes this time.
Yep, 1952 against the players of Deadeye Guys, but with that first airdrop with Og and whole of level 3 into that, and it seemed that the players of Freestyles would be looking to have a hand on to them. And if we talk about that Og, so what do you think fixes the gun Og helps the players in this game of Miramar?
I mean, I'm not a really huge fan of AUG, to be honest. Yeah, it definitely helps the players in Miramar, of course, with those long mid-range sprays. But then
Yeah,
again, that's possible with your M4. You know, players are
exactly.
even more comfortable. It's all about finding the right attachments. The moment you get that tag stock, pretty much becomes the same. I feel somewhere down the line, it's a personal opinion that M4 kind of feels more, does have
Exactly.
a better, faster fire rate. But we do have Blood
Ooh.
Legion going after the players of Deadeyes, and it's Hungry Box caught out right in the open. His position completely compromised, barely surviving with a sliver of HP. Gets taken down by B1, one of the latest additions. And my oh my, the way this lad is performing, gotta definitely watch out for him in the foreseeable future.
You need to, and because last day me and Johnny were actually casting the matches. We just saw B1 with that spot on nading technique. So not only just that he has the gun power, he also knows how to put that precision pinpoint nade. But with that, just because they have already made a lot of noises, 1952 were trying to make a rotation, and just because of that C minor, look at that flank angle. This he is just trying to create. But the good thing that Blood Legion has done is that they are not to the same area that they were before, and B1 still trying to take the fight, but entry again with that entry flag. And now it seems that they need to go into zone because the second zone has already made a shift.
Yeah, I mean, with the second zone making those shifts away, it's going to be difficult for Leo right now, considering he's on the lower grounds, going up against in this fight. B1 already being knocked out. It's going to be um, a revive coming in. Maybe it's possible. It's still the second circle. It's there, but at the same time, like we said, you have to respect the circle. You can't delay a lot. Now, considering the fact that Blood Legion have themselves surrounded from multiple areas, it's going to be a very tough task for them to escape from the situation unscathed.
Yep. Yup, this will be a double whammy situation for them because from the one hand side, obviously they were pinned down by the players from one team, but on the other hand side, they just didn't expect it. The players from NFP, and this is a daunting task if they just want to rescue themselves up at B1 again with that nade. If this connects, this can be detrimental for the players of NFP, and we still have to wait for that. But the still knock hasn't come onto the way. But all these fights are actually happening onto that blue zone area, and soon we can see one or two more players going down one by one because in this map of Miramar you have to pay respect to zone. If you don't pay respect, the circle is gonna punish you harder and harder.
Yeah, indeed it is. But all right, so B1 finally getting that res back up, and gotta see as to what Blood Legion are actually opting for. Now they've got to travel a long distance, and considering the utilities that they have on themselves, the first aids that they have, I think it's going to be really crucial for them to just get the kill secured and get the hell out of that place, because they need to get inside the zone and they need to do
Exactly.
it really fast. And the more seconds they are delaying, they're going to be causing more trouble for them. But Dominic, gotta see if he's got a vehicle. Yes, Gyro does have one. So he's just going in for the loot, trying to get or scavenge whatever he can. But Halsey, he's got a different idea in his mind and
Ooh.
does knock out Leo in the process, as Blood Legion again find themselves in a whole world of trouble.
Okay, so Halsey is just punishing all these players, all these teams that are still in the open, and the good spray actually just came from that side. And just because of that, Blood Legion one player was still knocked down. Leo is still the player that needs the revival. But the bigger question is, the circle is again and again taking a shift. 2080 meter is the total distance. And how do you think these teams are gonna make an entry? Because the moment you make an entry, obviously the fourth zone will be forming or somewhere down the line, and then the circumference and the distance and the area will be so less to actually breathe you for yourself.
I mean, you've got to talk about it, right? You've got Khatir, the last player surviving for NFPxSky. So, gotta see as to how this lad is gonna play this one out. He knows that he can't do much from around here, but considering the fact that Blood Legion, they've got all their four players alive, they're actually looking to, turn the tides in their favor entirely and kind of go in for the wipe. But by the looks of it, that does not seem to happen. As
God's
well,
Reborn.
I don't
Okay.
know what's going on over here. God's Reborn coming in to the party. Now Dominic is certainly unaware. Now he does realize that this is a different squad. Goes in for the knock, gets the first
Ooh.
one, but gets knocked right after.
Exactly, and Koa just taking the trade knock. Leo is the man that can actually help him survive for a long. But Playzone has actually taken the players, and they are facing the brunt of it. Koa, he just have 18 bandage into its number. If this nade connects, Leo, can this be a detrimental for him? We have to still wait for that. But yes, that has done some damage. But trade follow up Molly can also make things worse for him. But Leo has also known that position, and just because of that, he's just trying to need him with some flashes.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna definitely drop a few utilities onto towards him, but Dominic already having lost out on his health over here, but God's Reborn definitely kind of having the upper edge in this particular fight, all pertaining to the high ground. Yashiro will be lobbing those grenades, trying to connect it on towards Leo, and Leo being one of those absolutely amazing supports from this roster. What is he about to do? What is he going to do as Kova goes in with the push? And Leo did try to punish him, did also take down a lot of HP. Now will be peeking from this side, almost securing that knock, and this time will get the success. But then again, Leo does not have a lot to play around with. It's the third circle that's going to close in, and from here onwards, you're going to witness that huge dip in your HP. And Blood Legion, well, they've
Exactly.
kind of passed by and gone inside the circle with Leo being the one who is sort of a scapegoat. But Yashiro, I don't think he's gonna make out of this situation alive as well.
Exactly, and the best part for Blood Legion is that two players have already made an entry to zone, but for not for God's Reborn, as Yashi, the last player surviving from the team, just made an exit to the lobby, and with that, God's Reborn has completely been wiped out from this match. But the way Leo actually gave them a fight, that was phenomenal, because one man actually gave a tough fight to the players of God's Reborn.
Yeah, of course. And now you've got the players of freestyle position, and mind you, we're not witnessing a lot of the map feed. So I really wanted to see where the circle is going around, and well, gotta check. Freestyle enjoying their own sweet time, and
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
But still, 1952. How can we forget this team? How can we take this team out of a scenario? Because in the last game, they just secured a chicken dinner. Just because of that, they are finding themselves in the top half of the chart for now. They have made a successful rotation. But one team that has also made a successful rotation from the northern side, it seems that P and Crew, yes, they have. But Zyrox has also been put down. That means Blood Legion. Maybe they might face annihilation, because if he doesn't get the revival, he will the last man surviving from Blood Legion will be a one player. But 1952 carrying that momentum, they are up against the teams of FS.
Well, quite an interesting scene going on over here. I'm really excited to see as to what really happens. So let's see.
Yup. The fight is still in that stalemate situation. The players of freestyle still scouting that area, just not trying to overexpose themselves. But Magnet, it seems that his position has already been revealed. But Miner, he is burning. He has become an inferno for now.
Well, he certainly has, and things are, getting really interesting with this player. So let's see what really happens.
Yeah, we have to wait for that. But the way 1952 they are just trying to aggress to this fight, this is phenomenal because with the elimination of C-Mine, the all three players surviving from their side is the Miner, Magnet, and Entry, and we have seen in the past that Entry, time and again, he just go for that entry frags and all, and he is the frontline warrior for his team. But for now, we see the Entry is on the back end side, but Miner has also been traded from each side, and it seems that 1952 one by one they are going on as Entry is the last player surviving. But for how long, that's a question will be answered in a as Vegeta is just not stopping with the 2Z. We have seen in this gun how deadly, how fathomy it can be in the very close range fight. But no, IDS is also taking some damage. But with that, Vegeta 3 kills into his name.
And he goes out with the clutch. Oh my goodness, the way this lad played it out, and you have to say it, you gotta believe in the gun
Exactly.
that is called Uzi. The kind of a devastation that it deals in those close range scenarios. Of course, now Freestyle, having lost out on 3 of their players, few confirmation from STALWARTxFLEX from the Far Off Ray. Finally, we do get a glimpse at where the map is headed towards. Now, P and crew, they're in a very, very commanding position over here. Now, if they play their cards right, if they sort of
Yeah.
avoid on top or somehow kind of tend to take him down, I think this match pretty much is theirs.
Exactly, we can see a very good split from their side, but look at the way many teams have to make an entry to the zone because from the western side, teams like FS, teams like T2K, teams like High Voltage, STALWARTxFLEX, these are the big names that have to make an entry. But the way STALWARTxFLEX are just trying to maneuver themselves and position themselves, they can gatekeep the situation for all those teams that maybe trying to come from the western half of the circle. But for that, STALWARTxFLEX also need to go into the zone at very first place.
Well, they certainly have to. And, well, gotta see as to rate it. A beautiful knock coming on towards Johnny to open things up. Now, T2K, well, they are pushing in, but Blade, he seems to be kind of retaliating back. He's not gonna, be engaging in this point right now. It might be a smart move considering the zone has started to make a move. And, well, gotta see as to how they play this one out. As Utsarga spotting out 7C's Memo from the Far Off Prey, takes a few shots at him, but it's gonna be Otzi who's gonna take him down.
Exactly, Ozzy takes him down, but with that Frankie just trying to impair the vision because on the backhand side, High Voltage, all the 3 players are surviving, but with Sarga very far away from his team, he has been isolated. But Frankie, a very good spray coming on from the sides of High Voltage or Ozzy, and he's just not stopping. 2 kills out of the all 4 kills is into its name, and we have seen time and again, if High Voltage performs good, Ozzy does make a mark for himself.
He indeed does. Now let's see as to what these lads are up to. But Freestyle have managed to secure, or rather revive 3 of their players, 2 of their players, in fact, are making their total tally to just 3 players being there. So still, I mean, they've got to play with what they have. But with every single game, the action is getting really intense. So many teams are surviving, so many players are surviving. It's a fifth circle closing in. We still have 23 players amongst us, and now, well, High Voltage, they do realize they've got a squad right beside them, but are they going to
Exactly.
figure it out as Memo is going to be lobbing that grenade towards the direction of Extreme, but it's miles apart, but still somehow manages to spot him down and will wipe him before he even realizes what's coming.
Exactly, but the moment 7C's player was just trying to take the shots onto the players of High Voltage, they just overexposed themselves, and that info has gone to the players of PN2, and just because of that, they are just trying to take some shots. Some players are also glowing from the play zone, and we have seen that Turulov that has also gone down, and it seems that Futurestation, they have to make an entry, and it seems that from the northwestern side, 2-3 teams are trying to make an entry, but Circle has also again made a shift, and it seems that has gone into the lap of the PN2 again and again.
Well, it certainly has, and so many teams playing on the periphery of the zone over here. So, gotta see as to how they're gonna proceed with this one. As High Voltage, they do have managed to spot out where Team 7C are exactly. Memo being the thorn in their ass right now. Gotta see as to what is gonna happen as Otzi is just gonna take a few shots, and well, he does get taken down in the process, and Turulov, well, he's gonna be fending for himself over here as Memo still surviving. 7 seed, they are off to a rock and roll.
Exactly, and 7 Seas Esports acting a very big impediment, a very big roadblock for the players of high voltage, and just because of that, they have faced a detrimental damage. But we can see Futurestation Vegeta also going down because Blade with that spot on it has also taken him down. But with the way 7 Seas Esports have actually held up to this height, to this area, a commendable job for them because they are the only two men surviving. But for how long, how long, as the players from PN Crew have just taken the better half of this, and just because of that, 7 Seas Esports gets eliminated at the very fifth spot.
They indeed, and finally, the run sort of comes to an end for them. But STALWARTxFLEX keeping their dreams real. 3 kills already for this team, but with 4 teams surviving, it is a high possibility. Now, we had sort of speculated PN Crew to be getting this chicken on this one, and we've got to give it, on top, surviving for so long. But Venom Legends, look at them, 4 men strong, certainly contesting for the chicken, and well, if the zone sort of comes down to them or sort of favors them, then this is their game to lose right now. On top, finally being spotted out, and can he take down Sandesh? No is going to be the answer as Sandesh retaliates really quickly, and with that, Deadeyes go falling.
Yup, the smokes dissipates, and with that, one team also gets dissipated from the lobby, and the team gets to faces elimination. But look at that, 3 teams into the final zone and final circle because 7 zone will be forming in a minute or two. But the way Venom Legends, they were also the team that got the chicken dinner in the very last game of Erangel. In this game also, one thing that they have done brilliantly, and that is that they have brought all the four players. That means the number advantage is going on to the number. Can they convert these number advantage into a chicken dinner? This is a question that will be answered in a few moments or two. But the way STALWARTxFLEX is just trying to flush out the players of PN Crew, this is brilliant because time and again Blade is just going spot on right on the money, but Sandesh is also just not stopping as Blade can't be anymore taken down. And yes, Ayush has taken down from the backhand side, but from Uziem, Sandesh has been knocked off, and Venom Legends sensing this opportunity just trying to push in and to make a flank angle.
Well, now things have started really getting intense. Now, Venom Legend, now they need to capitalize on this situation. They need to capitalize on this advantage. But no, Killer is not giving them that opportunity. Staying on towards those slopes of the roof that he is holding on towards, already securing that one knock and a kill confirmed for himself. As STALWARTxFLEX still surviving with those 2 players. PN Crew, can they make this one happen? But Venom Legends definitely having themselves approached towards the edge of the circles. I think this is one of their games where they should be winning, but with PN Crew and STALWARTxFLEX still in contention, anything is possible.
Yup, we still have to wait for that because Venom Legends Rafat is on to the one angle, and onto the other hand side, Venom Legends rest players are still surviving. But the way P and Crew have positioned themselves, we just saw Killer Whitey holding that roof angle, and from there he's just trying to scout the area. And Ayush and Sandesh have been especially said to be station yourself and just not let other players come in the zone because from the circle side we can see 37 meters is the total distance that STALWARTxFLEX has to make. But if they try to make that movement, teams like PNQ, teams like Venom Legends are already waiting for them. But one team that also has to go into zone, and that is of PNQ. But the distance is pretty damn less, and that is just of 5 meters.
Well, it is indeed. Now, considering we've got 8 players and Nightwing getting that knock on towards Sandesh, now this might be opening a few things up. As in this Mexican standoff that we have, Ayushi is gonna deal some heavy damage on towards Uzum as Blade is the last member falling down, and with that, STALWARTxFLEX biting the dust. And now that leaves us with the last player, Killer. He's the one man standing, but not for long, as Venom Legends will, of course, be putting the final nail in the coffin. And with 7 kills is what they're gonna secure that chicken dinner. And
Yep.
wow, what a beautiful performance from these lads. They've been smart, and they kind of waited for their time to come, and once situation was in their favor, they went in and finally managed to win this game.
So yeah, Veterans are doing quite decently in the very last game. In yesterday's match, also they got the chicken dinner when they eliminated the teams of 1952. In this match, situation was different. The map was different, but the outcome was still the same. They eliminated the players of PN Crew and STALWARTxFLEX, and just because of that, 8 kills into the name, and obviously 15 points for that chicken dinner. So close to 23 total points will help them take a leap in the total points table. But PN Crew also that 7 kill, and some good games actually coming up, and again a Bangladeshi team dominating the lobby of Miramar.
Yep, certainly has been the Bangladeshis tonight, going high up in the sky. And Venom Legends a much needed respite, a much needed chicken dinner. And, this team has been very consistent, known for
Yeah,
their positional plays. But at a time, they were also really aggressive, when Rafat used to be in his prime. I mean, he still is playing a really good game. But,
exactly.
last to last PMPL, the performance that we had seen from this man, you sort of tend to compare him with Mavi from, of course, Indian region that we know of. So, yeah, I mean, he's that kind of a leader, and again,
Exactly.
leading his team into victory. I'm not really surprised. Now, Venom Legends, all these teams playing in the lobby, they have what it takes to be the best. It's just about driving yourself through it, towards it. And yes, Venom Legends, this time they've done it.
Yep, and they must cherish this chickener because they have been trying pretty damn well in the last game. Also, we just saw them. They were caught out in the open for once, and they just faced the invasion. But at the end of the day, you just keep trying, and just because of that, as you just mentioned, Rafat making things happen for them, and just because of that, a total of 22 points, and just because of that, they just got a chickener in this name. Some more teams actually joining the frame. Teams like STALWARTxFLEX, Blood Legion, and we were expecting these teams actually to come up, and they have also performed decently in this match.
I mean, decent has to be an understatement for the likes of Blood Legion. I absolutely loved how they play. Yeah, one thing for sure, they could have worked out on their positioning. Look at the kills, 9. I mean, the highest in the lobby again,
Yeah.
trained to kill. The way they've been playing the champions, in fact, the table toppers is what we can call them right now, and they're also getting 8 kills. So yeah, these teams do understand these are the scrims. You need to get into a lot of fights. So I think Blood Legion, with the new addition of B1 into the roster, I think they're looking really solid. But then again, the classic, the OG roster of Blood Legion is also something that I absolutely love and adore. But
Yeah.
moving on, to the next set of teams, 1952, not really having the kind of a start that they would have anticipated for themselves.
Yep, so 1952 not just carrying on with the momentum, but some teams have already carried on the momentum, and we have seen already in the first list where some teams actually did perform. But I expected teams like R3D and Inertia Esports to come up on the top, but then again, it was Stalwart Flex again with that good total points. But teams like Freestyles, they were also having not a very good game, but it's okay to get 7 points in a match.
Uh, well, yes, of course. I mean, these are the scrims, right? We've been talking about this time and again. And we have the final overall rankings after 18 games being played, with T2K being the table toppers right now. And with F4 right on their backs, and you've got 1952 also slowly but surely catching up. But what I really love to see is the presence of God's Reborn, 7C, even Blood Legion have sort of thwarted themselves, propelled themselves upward in these leaderboards.
Yup, and with that, Venom Legends also looking very promising, and the lead is not very much. If we see that eighth and ninth position, they must be looking to topple at any moment when they come into action again. But also high voltage, Futurestation. These are also some of the teams that actually did well. It would have been great had R3D come up with some good performance, because we have seen these teams actually performing well, and before the match started, they were on a high position, if we talk about the total positioning. But obviously, you play scrims with all those strategies, maybe just trying to figure out what goes in your favor, what not goes in your favor. At the end of the day, it comes down to what are you learning. So I'm damn sure that R3D must have learned something from this these.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, completely agreed with you. With that, I wanted to see something more out of R3G this time. Though they're kind of similar in terms of their standings, but then again, taking a look at the final page, you would of course want Skylight Gaming, teams like Carnage, to be, in at least the top 10, considering they have that PMPL experience, and even the likes of INES. I think they've been going through a tough time, and with a lot of roster changes here and there, they're still yet to find their stable footing.
Yeah.
But they still sort of managed to get that one chicken dinner, so it's fine.
Yup, it's still fine for them until unless they face more brunt of it. But with that, we head towards the kill leaders for the day, and PN Crew are huge with total of 4 kills, and we have seen in the past when PN Crew performs good, Ayush is the player that has also done to them. But some more players like Rated and from Gods, players like Ashiro has also done pretty well in order to secure that name in that kill feature list.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've got to say it, right? P and Crew, they've been consistent. They've been there in those final circles. So yes, all these skills were about to be coming. And Shiro, yeah, we've witnessed this player from quite some time, really lately, and we know
Yeah,
that he carries along with him a lot of potential. So yeah, him just about stepping
exactly,
himself out, showing his true colors, just breaking through those cages. Yeah, these are the new players that you would want to see come up quite often. We've seen the old guards, they've been consistent, they've been doing the charm, but yeah, the new talents, the new blood is what I love to
exactly.
watch.
Exactly, we have seen some more roster changes and some more players joining the frame. Some for some teams, it's actually worked out. For some teams, they were on the receiving end, but with that, we are done with all the 3 games, all the 3 Miramars for this day. And once we get to see other matches in the frame, we will be right back. But all these 3 games, uh, how is it feeling? Because last time I and Johnny were there. This time I and obviously Fixes you are. So what are your expectation when all these teams come into the next half?
I mean, again, that will be a different day. We'll have a different set of maps over there, and it's going to be completely different. The action was, of course,
Exactly.
are going to be different. So obviously today was Bangladeshi domination. I'm kind of excited to see what we are going to witness tomorrow. After watching all these players, get their hands on that chicken dinner, it's time for me to, sort of head off and have a chicken
Exactly.
for myself.
Yes, with this, it's a wrap from our side. We just witnessed all the 3 action coming up. So don't miss to join us when we come next. Till then, stay indoors, stay safe, and be sanitized.